All right, let's go to Ohio, and we'll talk with Chris. Hi, Chris. What do you got for us today?
Hi, Andrew. I just want to let you know how much I appreciate your ministry also tonight, and
Mm,
it's just been a blessing for me over the past 4 years. But what
mm.
I had two things I wanted to talk to you about tonight, but I think I'm just going to talk to you about the latter,
Okay.
and that's the fact that I've discussed with you before how that I have congestive heart failure,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that illness, sometimes I I get very exhausted, very tired, very just
Yeah.
it's just part of the illness, and sometimes um, I get impatient with people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel angry. I feel like I get angry easy. And you had a gentleman on the other night that talked about,
Yeah. Yeah.
cussing and feeling angry with people and stuff.
Right.
And I just want to be kind. I've been asking God to help me
Mm.
be kind with people, but I just,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes struggle with this.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about that, Chris. I mean, first, you have congestive heart disease. You've got a condition that's causing tremendous fatigue. And let's keep that word in mind, fatigue, because some of our audience knows exactly what that's like. And then maybe some who are younger or in better health, they don't know what that's like. But imagine carrying the weight of fatigue all day long. You feel like you constantly need a nap. You feel like there's a haze over your headspace. You know, your brain, it has a bit of fog to it. There's a constant, like you're just carrying a backpack full of weights and that you're just trudging along at times. I mean, that's the way this fatigue might feel for you. And then you put yourself in a place where you're taxed. I mean, you're physically taxed. You're to your limits and you're trying to relate to people, and perhaps the situation requires the smile and the hug and the handshake and the kind word, but there's stress. There's stress involved. In those relationships, there's stress. My first message to you, Chris, is that you're not unusual. You're just human. This is not about you having some enormous failure. This is about you having an enormous limitation. You have a limitation because of the weakness and frailty of your human body, which is a fallen, it's part of the fallen world. And so it will be replaced one day with a beautiful new resurrection body. But right now you're fighting a physical condition. And that physical condition causes irritability. You get irritable when you try too much, you try to do too much. And, I think you need to be candid with people. I understand what you're saying. You end up getting irritable, you get angry, you blow up in a situation, then you end up having to go back and apologize, and you feel bad, and you feel remorse, and you feel regret. Of course you do, because you want to treat people well. And so, I don't have a magic wand, obviously, that's going to make all the physical stuff go away. But I would begin, if this is a condition that you constantly struggle with, I would be real transparent about it. And just sometimes you're going to have to let people know, hey, I'm just not able to do that right now. I have so much fatigue. I just feel run down half the day. So my best hours are, 9 to noon, or my best hours are 7 to 10, or whatever. I think you need to learn what your body is doing and then plan for fatigue. This isn't you, Chris, waking up every day saying, gosh, I want to be mean to people. I want to be cruel to people. That's not your intention, and that's not your heart. I know your heart because you have a new heart. God gave it to you. But you have limitations of human weakness. And when that stress and anxiety, that physical exhaustion weighs in on you, it's really challenging. I mean, of course, you can say, well, I'm a new creature in Christ and I've got a new heart and it's a loving heart and a kind heart, and God's given me his patience in the person of Jesus who lives in me. You can believe all those things, and that can be a good counsel to you, but it might not change the physical exhaustion that you feel. So, what I'm saying is give yourself some grace and give yourself some space. And when you have to explain to people what you're going through, go ahead and do it. It doesn't have to be an essay or a dissertation. It could simply be, hey, I struggle with a lot of fatigue and I'm going through something right now. I need to step away or step back or take a break but just show yourself the same grace that God has given you. This is not an issue of sin and needing forgiveness and, condemnation and guilt. None of that needs to be a part of this. This is about recognizing you have a human body and you have limitations and you're experiencing disease and decay in your body, and it takes a toll. And so we have this treasure in earthen vessels, Paul says, so that the glory can be of God and not of ourselves. And then Paul says, I glory in my weaknesses. So I just encourage you, be real about your limits and give yourself the same grace that God has given you. Nothing you're describing is unusual. Anybody would experience that fatigue and that irritability and that challenge. So give yourself the same grace that God has given you.